So today we are going to speak about sales and marketing and how to keep these teams in sync for a better customer experience. We are really happy to have our customer Straumann Group today with us, and they will share with you what was the pain point of these two teams, how they develop new processes to align the teams and also share across a spread teams around the globe, how to share assets and marketing collaterals. We will as well give you a demo of a great solution that we built for them. So there will be a demo in the middle of the webinar. The webinar will be about 40 minutes, and then we will follow by question and answer. So stay until the end. But before starting, I would like to give you some information about who we are, One Insight, if you don't know yet. So One Insight, we are a Swiss company based in Lichtal, close to Basel. We are Adobe partner, IM experts, and also experts in the whole experience cloud suite of Adobe. Adobe partners since 2012. We are based in Switzerland, as I said, and as well, we have offices also in Germany, North Macedonia, and Ukraine. We are about 70 plus employees. Our core business, our core skill is IM and Adobe solution, but as well, we do more things, and you will see that today that also we can offer mobile application development, analytics and personalization. We also build great AI chatbots. We do marketing automation and immersive experience. But today we're not here to speak about our services, but more to speak about great projects. So please welcome our speaker, Nikolai and Robert. You can now turn on your camera and your microphone and say hi to the crowd.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, all good? Are you ready for this webinar? Yes?
Yes, we are.
Good. So I will hand over to you, Nikolai, and you can start the presentation explaining who you are, who is Straumann, and what you do.
Yeah, thank you, Samuel, and thank you all for your interest in the Presenter app. As said, before we deep dive into the topic, I would like to quickly introduce myself and the company I work for. So my name is Nikolai. I am head of digital experience platforms for the Straumann Group based in the Basel headquarters. I was actually born in 1973, married, and do have two boys of age 9 and 12. I'm actually always on since 1995, where I started my career at Ciba-Geigy, where I built one of the first intranets based on CQ4, so the former company responsible for the Adobe Experience Manager, named today, also based in Basel, actually. Then after the merger with Sondo, I worked for more than 10 years for Novartis, where I was responsible for both internet and intranet projects. In 2010, I then joined Straumann, where, beyond others, I am now the business owner for IM, our external LMS system, and the Presenter app. So I'm actually a counterpart of Mario Bellino, who is also attending this webinar. So I'm the business owner, he's the technical owner of this platform. So I would like quickly talk about who Straumann is. So the Straumann Group is a global leader in aesthetic dentistry, a typical B2B business, and headquartered in Basel near the main railway station. So the group unites global and international brands that stands for excellence, innovation, and quality in replacement, corrective, preventive, and digital dentistry. So we have many brands like Ontoshir, ClearCorrect, Dental Wings, Medentika, Neodent, Nuvo, and probably the most known brand here in Switzerland, Straumann, as well as other fully or partially owned companies and partners. So we have a team of more than 7,300 people, and we are present in more than 100 countries around the world through a broad network of subsidiaries and distribution partners. You can have a look at our corporate website, available under www.straumann-group.com. So yeah, the project started a couple of years ago when talking to our sales managers and marketeers. We were increasingly made aware of pain points that needed to be solved. So for example, it was not clear to the increasing sales force where to find the most up-to-date marketing collateral available for their brands, and if they were valid in their specific country. So they had to search for them on various locations, such as various network drives, on the intranet, on the internet, in OneDrive, and so on. And actually, then they started to download them on their own computers in private folders. So as a conclusion, every sales rep and marketeer had, as said, his own secret place where they stored the assets, and we here at headquarters or in the local marketing organizations no longer had any control over the assets which were distributed to the customer, and this could easily cause compliance issues. Furthermore, it was almost not possible for the sales force to share the assets with the customer, as the attachment size usually exceeded the allowed attachment size. So in short, there was really a lot of, let's say, chaos or dissatisfaction on both ends, so be it the sales force side or we here at global or in the local marketing departments. So this is how the idea of the Presenter app was born, which should play an important role in sales enablement by enabling the sales rep to access the latest marketing collateral at any time and independent of an active internet connection. The app should also give the marketing departments valuable insights on how and which of the marketing materials are used and in which part of the buying cycle. The reps should have access to various types of marketing material via a centrally managed platform that they can use before, during, or after a customer contact, and which ensures consistency, accuracy, and speed. So the solution is actually an internal app available on both iOS and Windows devices, which allows us to achieve these goals by giving access to all our marketing materials, as said, available in a specific country or on global level. And it now allows sales, marketing, and event teams to capture the interest of our customers with engaging content, such as interactive sales presentations, videos, catalogs, brochures, images, and so on. And all collateral can be downloaded for offline use as well. So that was also one of the main goals we would like to have, because maybe the collaterals are available on the internet or on the intranet, but not for offline use. And we really wanted to have it available for offline use as well. Then also, it should also, we have the aim to reduce printing costs, to reduce printing wherever possible, but still have the options that we can share assets with our customer with download links. Last but not least, the solution should be fully integrated in our Adobe Experience Manager infrastructure to ensure one single source of truth for our assets. So, what is actually the process? So we have three main parts actually. So we have RM sites, RM assets, dynamic media, and a very powerful API developed by our colleagues at Straumann actually, when it comes to the management of and the distribution of these assets. So the IAM authors, they upload, tag, and publish all the assets in IAM assets. So they appear in the right brand, in the right channel, in the right country, and can be filtered by asset and format type, by product category, by language, and so on. And as said, we have a very powerful API that ensures that the assets get synchronized between the backend and the Presenter app. But I think it's best that we show a demo of how the app currently looks like, so that you have a good impression of what we are talking about. Samuel, please show the demo. So in this demonstration, I would like to give you an overview over the main features of the Presenter app. I already started the Presenter app on my Windows device, and I'm actually logged in on the international English site, indicated by this icon here. If you click on it, I would be able to switch over to any other country language combination. So here on the international side, I have access to 8 different brands. And by clicking on any of these brand tiles, I come to the library view. Here I find a result list with latest collaterals added to the list. I can scroll down, and when I come then to the end, I get more and more results. I have here different sorting options, so I can sort by publication date and by title, and invert my search or order if needed. I can switch over to a list view. So this is just another representation of my result list, depending on your preference and available space. You use one or the other. So here on the card view, you have here then the so-called brand indicator, in this case lime green, which indicates this is a Straumann green brand. Then you have a thumbnail, you have certain meta information showing the asset type, the file size, the publication date, and the article number, followed by the title of the document. Below you have up to 3 icons. The first one shows you if you have already downloaded this document, which is the case here. You also have then an indication if this asset can be shared by email, and from time to time you also see a third icon, namely this order basket, which indicates that you can order a hard copy of this asset. So a sales rep will now normally either look for latest marketing collateral here, or if he wants then to prepare his customer visit, he will look for specific assets. So he, for example, would like to talk about one of our implant systems named BLX, and then he will add and select those assets which he would like and show during the visit. So he can multi-select, and then he has here in the action bar certain icons, for example adding it to a playlist, and then he can create a new playlist, for example BLX. He creates it and adds those assets to this playlist. Once created, you can go to your playlist. When you click on it, you see which assets are within the playlist. You can change the order of your playlist. And then you can also add a cover page. select the design, and then you have this first slide. Then before you maybe go on the road, you would like to download them all at once. So you start downloading all these collateral for offline use. And then you would go and start playing your playlist, starting with the cover page. Then as soon as you open a PDF file or an Office document, a web viewer will open. We use a third-party web viewer named PDF-tron, which comes with a lot of functionalities already and smoothly integrates for both iOS and Windows devices. So here I can then switch to a full screen. So this is a presentation mode. I can then go to my overview slide and then just go from one slide to the other. The beauty is that it supports the interactivity of the PDF. So if you have then hyperlinks, you can easily go from one slide to the other. Then it also supports annotations, so you can start drawing on the PDF itself while you are presenting. You then can also download this specific PDF file with the annotations on it. You can also print it if needed, or you can also use the search to find specific keywords within the document. And for sure, you can also zoom in. You can change the layout, the page transition, and you can change the page orientation. You also have here a thumbnail preview of all the various pages. So then after the visit, you would like maybe to share these assets with your customer as well. So you can share this playlist with your customer by clicking here on this email icon. But yes, you see only 3 assets can be shared by email. One is not available for sharing. So if you now click here on this icon, only 3 assets will be added to your email. Then you enter the name of your customer and you can then just send a standard email with respective links to the assets. So how does it look like in the backend? So as you know, we use RM assets, and we do have actually here I am now logged in our productive environment. I have opened the asset. So here you see in the properties of an asset, we have here a lot of our own meta tags which we use. So we have the title, we have subtitle, we associate a collateral with a specific brand, and here that's probably the most important one, we select the distribution channels. So here, besides that we show it on the intranet, we also want that it becomes available in the Presenter app. We select the target country, we select the language, the document, and the format type. And then we also have here on a specific tab also the possibility to say, yes, it can be shared by email. If it would be orderable, as soon as I have here a number on it, the icon add to order basket will appear. And here I can have this forced upload option which is normally on false, but if I really want that a certain document gets automatically replaced, I will set this here to true. So how does it look like when I update an asset? For this, I switch over to another country, like Germany. I always have here to accept the disclaimer. And then you see here on the left-hand side, I have here my update section. So here I see all the assets which I had downloaded for offline use, which were in the meantime exchanged, and therefore they will have this kind of synchronization button in here. So I can start re-uploading this specific asset. It will then disappear and automatically become here available in my download section. Then furthermore, I also have here an overview of assets which have been recently actualized and automatically be re-uploaded to my Presenter app. And I also have a list of forced deletions. So this is just that you get an overview if you start to miss a specific document. So this document, for example, it will be automatically removed from all playlists and from the library view. Last but not least, we also have then here the option where you can switch over. You have here certain, you can select between certain functions, which then maybe change the design, or it has an impact on analytics as well. You have an overview about your available disk space. You can have here a synchronization immediately with the backend server, and yes, some specific information about the app itself. Then here in the email basket, you see also items which I have added to the email basket. So if I would like now to send these 3 documents to a specific sender, similar to the playlist, I can now just open my Outlook, and this will then include these assets as download links. With that, I hand over back to One Insight. Thank you for your attention. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Nikolai, for this very detailed introduction and demonstration of the Presenter app. On behalf of One Insight Switzerland, I would like to also welcome you all to this webinar from my side. My name is Robert Wüst. I'm a software architect at One Insight here in Liestal. My involvement specifically involves technical lead of front-end projects and architect of certain regards. Besides my work at One Insight, I am teaching at the University of Applied Sciences, Northwestern Switzerland, mostly in the fields of web technologies and database management systems, like computer science basics mostly. That should be enough from my side to my person. I would like to jump right in. Since we now saw this product that has been come out, I would like to highlight some of the when I can get out of this here, some of the aspects of the development of this app, specifically when it comes to the hybrid approach that we used. When Straumann approached us with the idea of this app, we had already a proven pipeline for creating hybrid apps in place, which we have been testing over the years for certain key players. In the following minutes, I would like to highlight our pipeline and what we are doing and how we are doing it, and specifically highlighting hybrid apps as a whole. That means when you take reference at the picture on the right, you might get an idea of what we are going to talk about. It is mostly using web technologies throughout to create certain advantages regarding app development that give us some advantages in speed, technology, and user experience. Mostly, I would like to introduce two core technologies which we are regularly employing when we're having new projects. One of them is the Ionic hybrid framework and capacitor, which are two key ingredients to most of our efforts regarding hybrid apps. So when Straumann approached us with their idea, our hybrid pipeline was a very good fit regarding the requirements, and we would like to take a look at how this is going to be the case. When we're talking about app development, and specifically the hybrid app approach, there are a few distinctions. We know native app development when we do native app development on platforms like iOS or Android or Windows, which means like using different technologies, different integrated development environments, and also different skills to produce certain products. That creates a quite high demand on different personnel or resources that don't make it easy to maintain a big project with multiple platforms at the same time. This is when we're talking about native. Of course, meanwhile, there are the talk about progressive web apps here, PWA, which essentially are websites to begin with some added functionality. But because of current limitations and requirements, these are still limited to certain use cases yet. Not saying that this is going to be the case forever. When you look at this little chart, on the bottom left, we see the three different technologies hold together. All of them are being online available, essentially. When they're online and connected, they can use data. Almost all of them have an offline availability. When it comes to PWA, like progressive web apps, there is limited offline availability possibility because we have to be aware of the amount of storage that is being at this same time not that much available as we might need it. The hybrid frameworks, as it presents it today, is still a very good hybrid in between those two worlds. Essentially gives us the offline availability and functionality that is required, whereas the big advantage of being multi-platform with one code base, as you can see on the bottom right, gives us a big advantage when it comes to maintenance. And our approach is a fully hybrid approach. That means it uses web technologies for the user experiences, fully integrated, and connects via interfacing directly to the specific platform. Specifically, when we're using Ionic, in that regard, we're using Ionic 4, which has been released on the 23rd January 2019. It's quite a recent version of it. Of course, this is still in development and goes on and on and on. But this is the version that has been used mostly. And we are using it in the combination with a front-end technology called Angular. I will highlight that a bit later on. So when talking about Ionic Framework, it allows us to use regular front-end technologies such as just HTML for markup, CSS or Sass for the styling, JavaScript for creating logic. And we are using in that combination Angular as a front-end framework to create the user experiences. Now, instead of using native platforms and native technologies such as C++ on Windows or Java for Android or Objective-C for iOS, for example, we are just using this hybrid framework to create our outcome. So we have one code base to maintain. This gives us a certain advantage in speed and maintainability, plus also testability. The resulting app is, of course, working on any platform with the same code base. Now, in the case of Straumann, we had two platforms that had to be served at the same time. One was the iOS using iPads, specifically on the right side, and then we have Windows that has to be served using, here in our case, we used Electron as a deployment generator here to create the executable, and Xcode was used to deploy the iOS package. This process using this one Ionic project code base was giving us a lot of advantages and speed in creating the features and testing them on all platforms at the same time. So now when we look at the challenges that the Presenter app posed to us, it's just not only creating the front end and the app functionality, but also we had some difficulties tackling, of course, the specific requirements, such as the offline availability and synchronization between the assets that are available, the metadata and thumbnails, and keeping everything in sync and available for the user to at their specific devices. One of the challenges we had there was the limit in storage. We have maybe as an average, we take 64 gigabytes of capacity of a local mobile device that is being available. Of course, when you have multiple terabytes of assets available, it doesn't make sense to sync everything down right away. So we need to have an intelligent process, an update handler, and the download manager that allows us to kind of get all the data that is required at a given moment and not everything else. Plus, we have to make sure that the data is the most recent form plot and it is available for the certain regional requirements. Another thing that is, of course, a problem is the connectivity, because the user of these devices is not always connected to a high-speed Wi-Fi network. Sometimes we have maybe even just normal mobile network connections of certain limitations. So the processes running in the background when using the app have to be aware of how the connectivity looks like, how much storage is available, what is the bandwidth like, and accordingly make sure that the user has a certain experience without being stalled or being stonewalled without being able to access the assets he wanted to have at hand. Now, if we zoom into a little bit to this, maybe on this slide, we can highlight a little bit the different aspects and the different data that is being transferred between the app and the very complex backend system that is available. On one side, we have the app. On the left side, on the right side, we have the backend of services, mostly from Adobe Experience Manager. One thing that is being used in that regard is the AEM Dynamic Media, working with digital assets, technology that allowed us to kind of get the thumbnails or images and video assets out of there. Then we had the AEM assets combined also with interfacing a cloud delivery platform called Akamai. And from there, it is this was providing documents, metadata, and tagged assets. Of course, this was a slightly different endpoint. Then we had AEM sites, which was responsible for serving us with settings or certain stuff like translations, internationalization, and so on. So there are a certain amount of players here involved that might not be available all at the same time, and so on and so forth. And the next thing that was important, that we had the background download that had to be state aware. So we had to show like what assets are available, downloading the metadata, having the most recent metadata. And then if the user wants certain assets to be available, he can download them, and the download manager has to make sure that he gets the most recent data. Plus, it is aware of what to persist and what should not to be persisted on the device itself. So that had to be an intelligent process that kind of makes sure what is the status of every asset at this given moment. So tagging the data is important. Hashing the data was an important role, so we could kind of compare checksums to make sure that we have the most recent data available. So there were multiple interesting processes going on here and still going on that kind of have to make sure that an ongoing experience can be provided to the user, whereas maintaining data at a most recent state and most effective regarding the resources available on the device. So, and with this, I would like to conclude the technical part of this webinar and give back to Nikolai for some testimonials, and we will talk later at the questionnaire.
Yeah, thank you, Robert. What I have now here on my screen are some testimonials we received after we have rolled out the Presenter app to the specific country. So we got amazing feedback actually. So I think it's a game changer actually, and it's just the beginning, as you will see when we have a look at what's coming next as well. So it's really for the first time that I receive very positive feedback from the sales force itself. So yes, they have a way now to find the marketing collateral, and they were amazed by the amount of assets available. I think and we got the feedback that it's easy to use. The performance now got much better. So we had to tweak it. So we had some issues at the beginning, but now we have a very constant and good performance. And I think it's, there's a huge potential, but on the basic stuff is really working. And yeah, so what is actually coming next? So what is in the pipeline? We have now just started there was a big wish from the sales force actually to have it also on the smartphone. And there was a long discussion about it because, as you know, it's not the screen size to have a presentation, but they mainly want to use it to see what's available and that they can share the asset with the customer by sending these download links by email. Then we also would like to have an improved search functionality. Currently, we have a very basic search functionality. So this can definitely be improved. We also want to have access to protected content. So currently, all the assets which are in there are actually not protected. So if you would know the link to these assets, you could easily download it. We also would like to have integration of 3D assets and more interactive HTML5 containers. We are looking also into possibilities to have augmented reality in the app as well. And as well, instead of just ordering specific collaterals, sending an email to the back office, we are also looking into web-to-print options. And yes, there are many more things which come to our mind when we think about how we can also improve the app. But currently, we are really in the process of rolling it out. We had the pilot country, Germany, and now we are, I think, more than 15 countries at least, which we had it rolled out. but also US will launch it in summer, and together with the smartphone view as well. So with that, I conclude my official part and hand over back to Samuel.
Thank you, Nikolai. Thank you, Robert. And really great presentation. People in the audience, you can clap. We don't hear you, but just say something in the chat if you liked it. And yeah, so we also got interesting questions. And so we will now start the Q&A. We'll spend just 10 minutes because I think people will get hungry and will leave the webinar by themselves. So we just go through the question now. And there is a mix of technical and more business ones. So I will take them one after the other. So the first one, do annotation in documents of a playlist get saved automatically such that the shared playlist is really what was presented?
Yeah, I can answer this question. So it's only saved when you are on the asset itself, then you can download it, but it's not saving annotations back to any server and so on. So you have to actually download it in addition that you have still the annotations on the asset.
Okay. Next one. Is there a way for the author to prioritize documents in IM? For instance, if you want to promote some asset and you can set some higher relevance to the asset.
Yeah, that was many times discussed as well. So we would have a tag saying this is a featured document, and then it would be displayed under featured. However, we also decided that it showed that everybody wants to have a featured asset, and it's always the most important one, the one which is in there. So we rather go into creating, let's say, pre-filtered lists and say these are the latest documents, this is documents around a specific topic, or we have also the possibility to have predefined playlists. So predefined playlists are playlists which we can upload in the backend, and then the sales rep or the user can make a copy of this playlist and have it as its own playlist as well. So this way we can somehow have the same result that we have a section where we can highlight certain documents.
All right. Next one, what analytics data do you collect and how is it used? Has it an impact on the decision which document and are further maintained? So yeah, about analytics here.
Yes. We have Firebase and Google Analytics 4 connected to this app. We capture almost everything we can capture. So in which brands, which collateral they open, which keywords do they search for, which assets get added to a playlist, which asset is added to a favorite list, which one do they add to an email basket, which one gets downloaded for offline use, which filter do they use. So we have really almost everything available. And it's now, it's us here at headquarters now to create the respective dashboards and interpret and get the essential things out of these analytics in order to improve the app as well. So that's a very interesting topic, and I'm always very behind it, that we always have to measure of what we are actually doing.
Interesting one about the pandemic and if it has an influence on the development or the use of the application. For instance, as there is no more customer visits, but only online meetings, is there functionality that supports online meetings?
So the first part, yes, it has definitely influenced. So it has influenced the way that we roll out, or the speed of the rollouts to the countries, definitely. Then with the functionality and online meetings. So, you know, most of these online meetings, when we have Teams, you can easily share the Presenter app, because yeah, it's an app which you can share, you can screen share, and they use it in order to present something or to show then a playlist. But an integration that we have a webinar, GoToWebinar included is not the case at the moment.
Okay. Next one. So here it's about change management. So a very technical and complex tool and a big change for the sales team. Was there a change management process with sales, and what is acceptance of the sales team? How big is your sales team, by the way, of Straumann, and what kind of feedback is coming from to IT and marketing?
Very good question. Yeah, it was and is a big change to the sales team. It really depends on the individual within the sales team of the acceptance. So we had really early adapters who really liked it, but we also had the neglectors of obviously. So that's why we tested it in one of the biggest market in Germany, collected all the feedback, and I think it was really important to have a constant communication with the front actually, and improve while we were still developing. So at the beginning there were as with every new app, there were some issues, and so the acceptance was not the best at the beginning. But now we really listened, and we have now already launched a couple of versions before we went and scale it up. And it's really getting better and better. And latest feedback from the sales team, especially in Germany, which is a challenging sales team, is really great actually. So they really constantly use it. They also have webinars and so on. And the sales force is about, in total, I think, we are growing, but I think we have more than 3,000 sales rep all over the world. So almost half of our employees, I think, is sales rep. But I'm not 100% sure if this is true, but that's a number I heard, yeah. Next question. I think
you have
Samuel is gone. Okay. Maybe I can then show it.
You can click on the questions, and then I think it should work.
Yeah. So the question is, did you implement... Oh, I don't see it, actually. So did you implement something specific to have a good performance for sales rep located in China? Or is this covered by Akamai? Yes, it's covered by Akamai, because we have a different setup for the colleagues in China. They have their own domain. So these assets are coming through a different channel. So we can also ensure performance there. But I have to say, it's not yet rolled out to China. So this is just hypothesis that this is working. But it should. Then, great app and great presentation. Thank you for that. Have you seen an impact on the success of the sales team? Are they faster than before? As we now just started to measure, I don't have any results which can confirm or not confirm it. So it needs more time to give you an answer on that. But as we see, it's getting more and more used. I think there's strong indication that it is successful. Otherwise, they won't use it. Thank you, Jürgen. Any other questions? If not, and I think we have lost our moderator, so Samuel is offline. I will conclude the session.
That's not entirely true. I think he's here, but I cannot make him a moderator anymore in the tool because it says the maximum of moderators have been reached. So
Okay.
I think otherwise we can, if there are no more questions, I think we can conclude. Maybe Samuel can write in the chat if this is all right, or from his side, or did we miss some part? Okay, yeah, well, then I think speaks for everyone, Nikolai and me. I think we're very thankful for you joining. And it was a nice Q&A. Thank you very much from my side. One insight. And Nikolai?
Yes, thank you also from our side. And yes, if you are interested and would like to have a further discussion on specific aspects, either contact One Insight or just contact me as well. So happy to have shown you this business case, and I wish you a wonderful rest of the day. Thank you very much.
See you at lunch. Bye-bye.
Ciao. Bye-bye.